What animal do you find represents you the most in a spiritual sense? All throughout history and mythology, people have always looked towards animal totems, or even as the form of an omen, for guidance, for understanding, for relevance in a form of behavior. Sort of like, hey, you're acting like a jackass, right? Well, the point of what I'm saying is to identify with the way you're acting in life and the subconscious mostly. What type of animal do you herald in your life? Now, most people will say, oh, I'm a lion, a tiger, or a bear, a hawk, an eagle. Everybody wants to see the alpha version of themselves. But how many people are really willing to admit that they're acting like an amoeba, right? Or a hyena, right? Or a raccoon? How many people go about sucking the blood of others? Is your spirit animal a mosquito, but you're running around calling yourself a lion? Well, there's a few things to contemplate. Now, one of my spirit animals, I try to learn the Tao of each animal that comes into my life. I'm extremely empathic, and I cannot walk into a pet store and see an animal confined without having to rescue it. That's why I greatly avoid pet stores. This one particular right here, a chameleon, came into my life. I went into a pet store to go buy my dog some food, and lo and behold, I walked past the reptile aisle and I made contact with this chameleon. Well, I decided to rescue it, and I put my hands up to the universe because I couldn't just spend the money on it. So I told the universe, hey, I'm going to go play roulette with 20 bucks. If I'm meant to have this creature in my life, you'll give me 200 bucks from this 20 bucks. So I walked over to the casino, this was in Lake Tahoe by the way, and I played roulette with 20 bucks, and eventually I won $200 exactly. I left, went back over to the pet store, and bought the chameleon. Now I'm a huge fan of the X-Men, and I decided to name him Sauron, as the mutant from the Savage Land. Now what's interesting, the more I research about animal totems and understanding the behaviorism of a creature, I found some very interesting information that I thought was quite extraordinary. First and foremost, the chameleon is one of the most adaptable species, camouflage, a natural sniper, if you will, one that can see in all directions. Now think about your psyche when you walk through the world. Can you see in all directions? Can you see someone behind you? Maybe not physically, but spiritually, can you see what someone's doing behind you? Spiritually, can you look at two things at one time? Can you multitask, right? Look how a chameleon moves. A chameleon moves very slowly, deliberately. Now it can jet. I've seen him kind of book out when it wants to, but for the most part, it moves in a stealth manner. It is one with its environment. Okay? One with it. And it changes its colors. Now, can we do that in the world? So say, let's say I identify with myself with being a hippie or being a businessman. Well, sometimes there's a time to change your colors to adapt and thrive in a different scenario. Okay? If you're in a dangerous situation, your actions might have to be a little bit different and your behavior a little bit different than, say, if you're in church or a mall or on a date at a baseball game, right? Your behavior is going to change. And I'm putting that more in a business sense, that sometimes when you're dealing with clients, you kind of have to match the energy that they're bringing to you. Not all clients are the same, and therefore you can't have the same direct attitude. You have to kind of match where they're coming from too. You have to get on the same level. Where is this person coming from? So the chameleon is actually a great business model, and most of the time it actually hits its target. When it shoots its tongue out and nails the bug, okay, it's a species of success, okay? Its tail is specifically Fibonacci spiral, the golden spiral, which alone, all life has the signature of God, so to say, the signature of the golden ratio, and it uses its tail to balance itself, an anchor. It's almost like a whip. It can wrap around a tree limb, it can extend its body. I would also be willing to say that a chameleon is a master of yoga. The way it moves its body from branch to branch is actually quite majestic and impressive. Now, let's get to mythology. I found a very interesting mythology, a Pan-African mythology based on Bantu culture, which is there's many tribes. There's like Swahili and many different tribes that encompass that. Parts of Zulu mythology. Actually, I was actually studying Zulu and came across this. But there's different aspects, different tribes that have a similar connotation about chameleons, and a kind of a chameleon versus a lizard. And it does actually go. It's similar to the tortoise and the hare. A lizard is quick. Zips around, grabs whatever it can, usually gets picked off, right? Doesn't really have camouflage or anything. The chameleon, I mean, a chameleon can be classified as a lizard technically, but its behavior is different than a common lizard. It changes color, it moves very slow, it's deliberate in its actions. Now, the chameleon is a symbol of eternal life, okay, and immortality, a longevity symbol. I thought that was very interesting, how here, like a tortoise in Chinese culture, the tortoise is a symbol of longevity, right? I thought it was very interesting that it would be that way, and the lizard is a totem of death. Now, what does the lizard do? It's erratic, it's quick moving, grab, get killed, right? So that's an interesting behavioral issue. They say a lot about that in the Tao, in a lot of Chinese mythology as well. A famous Chinese herbalist who lived supposedly to the age 256 was quoted as saying, "Keep a quiet heart, sit still like a tortoise, walk sprightly like a pigeon, sleep like a dog." It's very sage advice, and similar to the chameleon, although part of that is the way it strikes the bug, the way it maneuvers, becoming one with the environment around him, strikes swiftly, gets what it wants, and returns back to its oneness with the environment. That right there is a recipe for longevity and success in business alike.